Chapter 17, A Sluggish Memory. As the new term began, Harry found himself more determined than ever to uncover the truth about Malfoy's activities. However, Dumbledore had other plans for him. During their next private lesson, the headmaster shared a particularly troubling memory, one that had been tampered with. In the memory, a much younger Slughorn was seen talking to Tom Riddle about something called Horcruxes, but at the crucial moment, the memory became oddly distorted, with Slughorn's voice unnaturally loud, as he denied telling Riddle anything important. "This memory is the key to everything, Harry," Dumbledore explained, his blue eyes serious. "We must know what Slughorn really told Tom Riddle that night. Your task is to retrieve the true memory from Professor Slughorn." Harry left Dumbledore's office with a sense of purpose, but also trepidation. How was he supposed to convince Slughorn to give up a memory he had clearly gone to great lengths to conceal? His first attempt during potions class was a disaster. At the mere mention of Tom Riddle, Slughorn's jovial demeanor vanished, replaced by a guarded, almost fearful expression. "I don't know anything more about that night," Slughorn said firmly, avoiding Harry's eyes. "Now, if you don't mind, I have essays to grade." Frustrated, Harry turned to his friends for advice. Hermione suggested using the Felix Felicis potion, but Harry was reluctant to waste the precious liquid luck on what seemed like an impossible task. Meanwhile, Ron was dealing with his own problems. His relationship with Lavender had become increasingly strained, and he was struggling to find a way to end it without hurting her feelings. As January turned to February, the castle was abuzz with excitement for the upcoming apparition lesson. Harry, however, found it hard to concentrate on the 3D's destination, determination, and deliberation when his mind was consumed with thoughts of Horcruxes and hidden memories. One evening, as he pored over the Half-Blood Prince's Potions book in the common room, Harry had a sudden inspiration. Perhaps the prince's ingenious notes could help him find a way to loosen Slughorn's tongue. Chapter 18, Birthday Surprises. As March approached, bringing with it Ron's 17th birthday, the atmosphere in Gryffindor Tower was a mix of excitement and tension. Ron was eagerly anticipating his coming of age, while Harry was still grappling with how to retrieve Slughorn's memory. On the morning of Ron's birthday, Harry woke to find his friend already unwrapping his presents with gusto. Among the gifts was a box of chocolate cauldrons from Romualda Vane, which Harry had forgotten to throw away. "These look good," Ron said, reaching for the chocolates. "No!" Harry shouted, but it was too late. Ron had already popped one into his mouth. Within seconds, a dreaming expression spread across Ron's face. "I think I'm in love," he sighed, staring off into space. Realizing the chocolates were spiked with a love potion intended for him, Harry rushed Ron to Slughorn's office for an antidote. The potion's master quickly whipped up a remedy, and Ron returned to his senses, looking thoroughly embarrassed. To cheer him up, Slughorn offered them a toast with some oak-matured mead. But as Ron took a sip, he suddenly collapsed, frothing at the mouth. "Poisoned!" Slughorn gasped, frozen in shock. Acting on instinct, Harry sprinted to Slughorn's potion kit and found a bezoar, shoving it into Ron's mouth. For a terrifying moment, nothing happened. Then Ron gave a shuddering gasp and fell still. The incident sent shockwaves through the school. Ron was moved to the hospital wing, where he remained unconscious for several days. Hermione, setting aside her anger over Ron's relationship with Lavender, barely left his bedside. As Ron slowly recovered, questions swirled. Who had poisoned the mead? Was it meant for Slughorn, or someone else entirely? And how did it connect to the cursed necklace that had injured Katie Bell? Harry's suspicions about Malfoy intensified, but he had no proof. Meanwhile, the pressure to obtain Slughorn's true memory grew. Dumbledore's gentle reminders became more frequent, underlining the importance of the task. One afternoon, as Harry sat by Ron's bedside, he made a decision. It was time to use the Felix Felicis. Whatever secrets lay hidden in Slughorn's memory, Harry knew they were crucial to understanding Voldemort and potentially to defeating him. As he fingered the small vial of golden potion in his pocket, Harry felt a mix of anticipation and apprehension. The time for hesitation was over. He would take the potion that very night and face whatever consequences came with it. Chapter 19 Elf Tales. As evening fell, Harry uncorked the tiny bottle of Felix Felicis. The effect was instantaneous. A sense of infinite opportunity bubbled up inside him. Suddenly, he knew exactly what to do. Following his instincts, Harry made his way to Hagrid's hut, where he learned that Aragog, Hagrid's enormous pet Acromantula, had died. On the way back to the castle, he ran into Professor Slughorn, who was sneaking out to collect some valuable Acromantula venom. Harry seized the opportunity, convincing Slughorn to join him and Hagrid in toasting Aragog's memory. As the night wore on and the drinks flowed, Harry found the perfect moment to broach the subject of the memory. "You liked her, didn't you?" Harry asked, referring to his mother, Lily. "But you shouldn't feel guilty about her death. It wasn't your fault." Slughorn's jovial demeanor crumbled. "Don't say that," he whispered. "It was my fault." With gentle prodding, Harry finally convinced Slughorn to share the true memory. Tears streaming down his face, the professor extracted the silver strand of memory and handed it to Harry. The next day, Harry rushed to Dumbledore's office. Together, they plunged into the Pensieve to view the crucial memory. In it, they saw young Tom Riddle asking Slughorn about Horcruxes, objects in which a person could hide part of their soul, granting a form of immortality. Riddle's casual inquiry about creating not just one, but 7 Horcruxes chilled Harry to the bone. This explains how he survived when his curse rebounded. Dumbledore said gravely, "As long as these Horcruxes exist, Voldemort cannot truly die." The implications were staggering. Their task was no longer just to defeat Voldemort, but to find and destroy these Horcruxes, fragments of the Dark Lord's soul scattered and hidden who knows where. As Harry left Dumbledore's office, his mind reeling from this new information, he realized the true scale of the challenge that lay ahead. The war against Voldemort had just become infinitely more complex and dangerous. Chapter 20 Lord Voldemort's Request. In the wake of the revelations about Horcruxes, Harry found himself more determined than ever to uncover Malfoy's plans. His obsession with tracking Malfoy's movements on the Marauder's map grew, much to the concern of Ron and Hermione. Meanwhile, the pressure of their approaching exams was beginning to take its toll on the 6th years. The library was constantly packed with stressed students, and tempers were running short. During his next lesson with Dumbledore, Harry witnessed another memory, this one showing an adult Tom Riddle returning to Hogwarts to ask for the defense against the dark arts teaching position. "But sir," Harry asked, puzzled, "why did he want to come back? He was already gaining power, wasn't he?" Dumbledore's eyes twinkled sadly. "I believe he wanted to find more relics of the Founders to turn into Horcruxes, and perhaps to recruit more followers from among the students." The memory showed Dumbledore firmly rejecting Riddle's application. As they exited the Pensieve, Dumbledore turned to Harry with a grave expression. "From that day on, Harry, no defense against the dark arts teacher has lasted more than a year." Voldemort cursed the position when I refused him. This revelation added another layer to the complex tapestry of Voldemort's past that they were unraveling. Harry left the office with his head spinning, trying to connect all the pieces of information they had gathered. As he made his way back to Gryffindor Tower, he overheard a heated argument between Malfoy and Snape. Malfoy was insisting he didn't need help, while Snape seemed to be offering assistance with some unknown task. Harry's suspicions about Malfoy reached fever pitch. He was sure now that Malfoy was working on something for Voldemort, and that Snape was involved somehow. That night, as he lay in bed, Harry made a decision. He would redouble his efforts to discover what Malfoy was up to, even if it meant neglecting his studies or risking detention. The stakes were too high to ignore his instincts.